we got ourselves Young gonna be first up versus Alphys, the Feral. Wait, Grondling? Wait, maybe not. Maybe he's first. Oh, why isn't dead? I like the way he looks. Is Young versing the... Looks like Young's versing the Warrior. Looks like the Warrior's first up. Looks like it's a little bit of confusion. Young is just fireballing him. I guess Gron is gonna be first up, and he got blasted. I think Ron was just out and about. I don't know if he was sure if he was first or last or whatnot. I think it was supposed to be Alphys first. But Gron kind of was out in the open. Chat, should we give that guy a res to let him go again? Because it looked like at least Young didn't have to commit that much cooldowns into that warrior. Should that guy get a go again? I think he was confused, but I think everybody else here were confused as well. I'm not sure what happened. Should this warrior get a go again? Could somebody res him? If he's still in here, could somebody give him a res then? Taylor says yes. What if we give that guy a res? Give him another chance. If he's still around. I don't know if he left already. Gonna be Alphys trying to see if he can recover from after that onslaught of a big combustion from the fire mages. He's gonna continue to blast it about. Big fire blast does land a quick interrupt on the regrow, denying any kind of nature healing for the druid. Yo, chat is saying yes, res that guy back. Yeah, if you guys want to res him, give him another chance. If his body's still there, we could totally do it. I don't know if his body is there. Alphys, next breath could potentially be pretty deadly. Breath into ring is going to be bad unless he doesn't get it. It looks like he does land it. Rune of power by the Young. He's still bleeding out. This man's gonna get cauterized out. Gonna go for food. He's trying to go rune of power food. If only that made food stronger, right? That rune of power. Gonna be Young trying to go for a blink using those shields in order to avoid a lot of the cauterized damage into the shields. Got himself plenty of survivability. Blizzard's trying to nerf it a little bit by nerfing blinks, which end up nerfing all mages in general. Which I feel like there gotta be a more elegant way of going about nerfing fire without completely destroying survivability of other mages in general. Going probably in the future. And we're gonna get better condies next patch most likely, unless they don't. Or maybe better Legos, which is gonna make things a little bit weird. Skull Bash onto Young, trying to give himself a bit of a shielding. Breath into Alphys, trying to go for a Ring of Frost. Does it land it? Looks like Alphys is gonna back up out of there completely. Alphys looking for a bit of regrowth. Young with no help whatsoever. He got himself a shield that's trying to recover some healing. As a shield erupts, it takes damage. Some of that does convert into health, as the mage is able to kind of make a transaction. All the time is up in case he gets rid of the bad spot. Combustion last second, but I think the blades are gonna get him. Seed pod. Alphys needs to get back in there and break the seed. Does he realize that Young has some survivability? Looks like he's not fast enough unless he's got a big bite ready. The seed pod I think is gonna get him back out. And Young is back in play. Got him some healing. Got him some cheat death. That's survivability of a fire mage. That's why you gotta be on the ball with this one. Alphys with a quick bash on the Young. It's gonna be Resonator. Does he stick next to him? Looks like he's gonna have to walk out. Actually decides to take that Resonator to the face. I guess Young wants to add a little bit extra damage to him. Young at no help whatsoever. Actually has an Icebug back up. Actually Young lived long enough. He got Icebug back. Gonna be some fireballs trying to give him some combustion. There goes the Icebug as the bite comes in. Alphys thought he had him. And Alphys is gonna have to see if he can crack through the tough exterior of the mage just for a little bit longer. Young going for a full reset in the Icebug. And should hopefully be getting combustion very, very soon. Got himself shields with a quick blink, immediately refreshing that side of shield. Big blades out of Alphys, potentially can make a play. This is where the bites and blades need to work. Young got himself all the time for a lot of this damage. It's going to reverse a huge portion of this burst back to full health. And this is where Alphys needs to keep the momentum going. The blades are still rocking. The bites are still firing. Definitely needs to get himself a skull bash. Interrupt this shooting power is going to be important. Does get a mate for it with a blink out of Young. Does get himself a shield though. And that's going to be Young continues to just blast out Alphys best as possible, trying to steal whatever hots he's got going from him. Barks it for Alphys. Young, again, break it out of the stuns really, really easily. Into a Skull Bash on the Ring of Frost. Young trying to go for more fireballs. I think it's going to be big bleeds. The shields is the only thing keeping him alive. Trying to give himself as much mobility as possible. Combustion is a last-ditch effort. It looks like Alphys does end up trucking him down with the bleeds ward down the mage little by little, taking him down with Sensei going to be up next. Lexi but Alphys trying to go for a big old jab. Big crits to follow. No chicken available. Alphys got himself a big heal as he gets super, super low, but there's only so much you can do about it. The next up is going to be Chicago. Trying to see if we may be able to play out towards Sensei. Are you still playing Kyrian? I still try to give that a go. Which, by the way, Kyrian as a enhanced shaman, can that work ever? I imagine that could work pretty good for healing, right? That probably is a fantastic heal. Going to be Ghost was joining in. Stun totem him down, but Sensei doesn't end up going for a quick jab, just pushing it over. Doesn't even like destroy the totem, he just pushes it onto the floor and just breaks it apart. They have like 5 health. You can sneeze in the direction and fall apart. Gonna be Chicago. Massive Chain Harvest. Desperate suppression to Sensei. Who's gonna reverse it with a Karma? And Chicago already has the Aegis Stricken there to absorb a lot of that nature damage from the Karma. That's going to be Sensei trying to see if he can disengage out of it. Zuwen join in. It's going to be a bunch of nature damage. That's going to be Sensei locked in on Static Totem for a moment. And Chicago goes for full ascent. It's got some plenty of range damage towards Sensei. Sensei with a huge diffused magic. Does have some of the Aegis as well. In cap on Chicago. Has Elixir to follow. Chicago is going to trick it out of it, just trying to stay aggressive. Wall to follow. Big kick out of Sensei, but it still continues to get super low. Just evading the capacitor totem out of Chicago with a ring of peace. Booping Chicago out of the way. As Sensei is still trying to find some cover and safety from the monstrous tornado that is Chicago. Damage. Lightning bolts to follow. Sensei trying to see if he may be able to find himself recovery. Slow totem around the corner. Lightning bolts continuing to summon even more Ghost Raptors. As it's going to be quick end cap onto Chicago. Sensei looking for a quick escape as well. 8 minutes into the duel, 20% dampener starting now, boys. Oh, 19? Come on. Come on. Push it over to 20, Blizzard. Come on. Get it to 20. Why is this? I gotta go 20. So it's at 20 is at 18, 8, 10. Interesting. I never really know the precise timing on those. Sensei kind of trapped in a Static Totem, tried to break out of it. Sunder Totem doesn't quite catch him, but a Sunder is going to end up, the Sunder ends up catching him. Capacitor doesn't quite do it. Chain Harvester falling, and Sensei might just go down without Earth Elemental actually getting the kill. Earth Elemental getting the punch down actually does score the kill for him. Who's it going to be up next over for the team 2? Is it going to be DJ potentially? Is it going to be Scoodle? Is it going to be Business, bringing the Business? Looks like it might just be the Feral Druid. We got Seavark on that team. We got Jerome in the back also waiting their turns. Gonna be Chicago. Take a lot of the bleed damage in the open. A got that Earth Elemental to bolster the defenses. Should be able to survive the immediate bleeds. Massive Berserk out for the Feral. Chicago's trying to keep the Feral in the Static Totem. Gonna be Capacitor as they go for a trick right before the Capacitor hits. And gonna be Business trying to see if he can go in Bear form. Barks and trying to give himself a little bit of recovery, a little bit of self-heal friends and regeneration. Chicago hit with a stun as Business dives into the Shadow Meld just to pounce him right out of the shadows. Chicago is looking for that full-blown recovery, plenty of mana, enough maelstrom in order to keep himself afloat, and does have cooldowns coming back up very soon. Ghost Raptors are almost coming back up. Ascendants here very soon. There's going to be a mad chain harvest for Chicago to recover a bit of healing, but also do a bit of damage to Business. Ghost Raptors join in. There's plenty of maelstrom. As long as Chicago got the mana, they should be good to go. Generation getting burned in order to try to give himself a little bit more survivability. Going to be Business driving him back in the bear form. Doesn't have a flesh cap. Trying to go for a Cyclone, but Chicago maybe could go for Cyclone again. And Business looks like he just trying to see if he can escape the Shaman as best as possible. Shaman trying to give him much of opportunity. Cyclone does come down. There's going to be Sunder. That's not an interrupt though. Business is going to go for yet another Cyclone. Static Totem on top of it. Does he have a capacitor to follow? Looks like the Feral is trapped right now. Can't really go anywhere. We're kind of panicking. It looks like Chicago's just going to unload on him. Just absolutely thrashing him down. Wisdom wins with Scuttle going to be up next. Swapping out to Survival rather than Beast Mastery this time around. And that's going to be immediate harpoon. And Chicago tags him with a flame shock. The Bat and the Hunter jumping in, trap, the clamps onto the hoof of Chicago, stunned by the Bat. It's going to be a flame shot to fall. Chicago is bleeding out right now profusely. Going to be big procs to the Scuttle. It's going to get those powerful punchy kill shots going through. And just needs to give himself a proc or two. One kill shot goes through. The bleeds is going to be pretty massive. Chicago better pop a defensive for this one. These dots are going to hurt. Chain Harvest in order to recover. Scuttle takes a huge portion of the damage. That's going to chain another kill shot around the corner. Chicago trying to see if they can play very defensive. Might decide to pop a wall here. As soon as there's a line inside of the Hunter, is definitely going to have the wall. Sunders him for a second. Chicago got himself a shield, but I don't know if that'll be enough. Trying to give himself a little bit of healing. Ghost Raptors join in. As long as the Raptors can attack the Hunter, they'll be in a good spot. Looks like that's exactly what they were doing. They were on their target. Scuttle again with a flame shot with a Serpent Stick, but I think it might just die to Raptors, and Chicago does end up taking him out. Oh my goodness, does actually do it. Let's go, boys. With DJ Flex swinging around the corner, not much that Chicago can really do in this situation. Does burn a wall, trying to get him some recovery, line of sight with those eagles, those kill shots. There's nothing they can do, literally baiting DJ into the room. That's all they can do is maybe get their team a bit better of a setup. And does die in a little cubby. With Seaver going to be up next, trying to land a poly on DJ. Does land a poly with the fire damage. Arcane Blaster follow, trying to see if we can blast out towards DJ. Potentially big damage. Going to be ultra time for Seaver. Does himself the big barrages to follow. Got himself shit power to follow right after. Just trying to see if he can chase after DJ. It's going to go for that ultra time. He's going to be able to put himself way back where he started into a steel trap. Missiles to follow versus DJ. Trying to see if he can blast him out completely. It's going to go for those arcane blasts with the pet instead. And actually the pet might just go down. I don't know if Seavark is committing quite a bit of damage with that thing. Blade shots is out on Seavark. Does some missiles to chase after DJ. DJ definitely better be careful with those, as those things can definitely do a ton of damage. And Seawork trying to see if he might be able to get himself a better situation. Does go for an Invis for a second. I think the Invis may be able to give him 60% damage reduction. Freezing trap on the Seawork with the charge trap right after. Has an ice block in case he needs to. He's just trying to get himself the ultimate time in order to potentially get himself a better defensive action. DJ trying to see if he can cover a bit of health. Barrage does connect, gets him out in the open. General Shield to follow. DJ does have himself ultimate time in order to put himself hopefully back in a better spot. And is going to try to go for missiles onto the pet. Potentially could rip right through that thing. DJ could use that pet death in order to potentially give himself a better spot, a better healing. Ice block out of Seawork, trying to prevent that kill shot from killing him. Shouldn't power to follow to maybe get some cooldowns back. Nova onto DJ Flex. Doesn't get a good setup on him. Ultra time for a second. That's going to be a freezing trap onto Seawork. Does not have an out for a while. DJ trying to recover as much health as possible. Skill trap onto Seawork. I think Ultra time should still be on him. Let him recover a little bit of health into Prismatic Barrier. Does go for a Soul Shape for a second. Barrage to DJ. Could be in a bad spot. If DJ's in the execute range, it's going to be really deadly for him. Seawork trying to see if he can blast out of the pet. Does himself images. Is going to be at least 20% damage reduction partially. Kill shots flying through. Seawork is super low on health. Definitely needs himself some kind of recovery into an explosive grenade. But I think that high dampener, that low of health, there's nothing you can really do in that kind of situation. DJ definitely played it out to his strength of Survival Hunter. Dots and pressure. Just laying behind the pillar, chilling behind the corner, waiting out until he has some procs, pops out, tags Seawork, backs up out of there. And looks like DJ just left? Looks like DJ just left? Is that what happened? Huh. Seawork, it's a bad matchup, man. Yeah, you actually have. You literally have got some of the hardest. I'm not going to disagree. Survival Hunter definitely counters in a 1v1 situation a mage pretty well. The only one maybe doesn't counter is like fire. Because at least fire has a crazy, disgusting survivability. But for arcade, it definitely is out there. It's rough.